Thank you for tuning in to the Law for Small Business YouTube channel. I'm Larry Donahue. I'm an attorney and founder for Law for Small Business. This is our Small Business Tips series. Today, we're going to talk about being careful when you join an existing partnership. Congratulations, by the way. If you're watching this, this means you've probably been invited to join a partnership or an existing company as one of the limited owners of that company. You need to be a little careful, however, before you sign on the dotted line and join that partnership. What this video is about is just to give you some tips what to look for before you sign on the dotted line and join. Before we begin, you should think about this as a marriage, not of love, but of money, time, and your career. You want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and most importantly, that you're going to benefit when all of this is said and done. So before you sign, I want you to agree on 7 things, or I want you to investigate 7 things before you finally sign and join. The first one is valuation. Are you being asked to pay for any money in joining this partnership? And if so, do the numbers make sense? If you're being offered a 1% ownership for $100,000, let's say, that's a $10 million company. Is it worth $10 million? Or are they asking that the valuation will be worth $10 million in a few years to come? If so, does that make sense? Do you think it can reach that value in the amount of time? Or are they asking you to spend money or your time and buy into it as a premium? What you need to think of it, though, is you're putting in your time and your expense, and they should be buying or paying for you at a premium. So in general, try and make valuation make sense for the company and for yourself. 2, do you have control of your own destiny? Control of your own destiny means is if there's any sort of metrics or statistics or requirements that affect your remuneration in any way, or even percentage ownership, you control those factors that allow you to succeed. If you're in charge of sales, but your valuation or your bonus or dividend or whatever it is based on what IT does or what some other department does, that's probably not a good thing, and you're not in control of your own destiny. So you need to make sure that you are in control of your own destiny. And as an owner or partial owner, you have control over those factors that affect what you get paid. 3, what happens if one of the key partners dies? What this means is you think about one of those existing founders or name partners or other folks that have a significant stake or equity in the company. What happens if they die, become incapacitated, or want to leave? What happens to your investment? One solution to this is key man or key life insurance, where if some significant member dies, the company will have the money to buy the shares from their estate or their family so that you can be guaranteed a position in the company as well as an increased stake if that member dies. But you need to be thinking about that and make sure you have those right pieces in place. 4, are you inheriting any substantial debts, liabilities, or other obligations? If this company is in debt, when you buy into a percentage, you are now partly responsible for those outstanding debts. Do the numbers make sense? Does the company have the ability to pay? The other interesting issue is if there's existing potential lawsuits or threat of litigation or other liabilities out there, don't just assume that because you started the company today and those obligations were incurred prior to you starting or signing on the dotted line or becoming an owner, you can still be potentially responsible, personally responsible, and your home and other significant assets could be at stake if the company has made some mistakes, if there was some shady dealing going on, or whether they've commingled funds or they're not operating according to the corporate formalities of the organization. And make sure all of that stuff's in place and proper so that you don't have any personal liability yourself. 5, what happens if the company sells? You want to make sure that if you own 2 or 5, 10, 20%, whatever it is, if the company sells, you get your fair share. Now, one thing to be concerned about or cautious about is if there's any vesting. What that means is let's say you're buying in for 10%, but you don't get 10% right away. It vests over some period of time, let's say a year or 2. You want to make sure that you're entitled to the full 10% if the company sells prior to your full vesting. What that's called is acceleration. Make sure you have acceleration in your partnership agreement. 6, what options are available if you want to leave? Don't think for a moment that you're going to be there the rest of your life. All kinds of circumstances can crop up, whether you just don't like working with your partners or whether you have a personal emergency or other extenuating circumstance. Maybe your eyes or hands are really important in the job and you develop arthritis or it's hard for you to see, or you have a family emergency where you have to take care of your spouse or a child that requires you to step away from your business. Make sure that it's easy for you to exit, and also make sure that when you do exit, you're paid appropriately and within a short, decent period of time. Don't agree to any long-term payment periods, especially anything longer than you were required to do when buying into the company. And then finally, number 7 is transparency. Do you have access to the books? Do you understand what's going on with the organization? Can you control your risk, control your liabilities, and just make sure that everybody's being compensated and treated fairly in the ownership ranks? So those are 7 points at a high level that you need to be thinking about before you sign on the dotted line, because congratulations, you've been accepted or invited into a partnership. There are other issues, however, so I strongly encourage you to find the right attorney and hire that attorney and help you through this process. But otherwise, congratulations and good luck to you.